How did I go from before to after? And why do I think the after version is so much better? That's what we're going to talk about in today's layout update. Don't go away, it's coming up right now. Hi, I'm Roy Smith. I've been arranging the track in the yard at Evanston on my layout this week. If you saw last Saturday's layout update, then you know that I have been unhappy for a long time with the yard at Evanston, yet I have been ignoring it for more than 2 years. And you also know that I have finally decided to do something about it. I introduced my plans for renovating the Evanston area of my layout in last Saturday's episode. If you missed it, you can go directly to it by clicking on a link that I will put down below in the description to this video. So the first step in the renovation at Evanston will be to realign the tracks in a way that will be more pleasing, both cosmetically and operationally. I've got to tell you that at first I thought I would only be able to make a minor realignment in the yard tracks, given the limited amount of space on this part of my layout. But as you will see, I have been able to do what amounts to a significant change in the track arrangement after all. Let me show you what I have done. This is how the yard has looked for more than 2 years. It was crowded and operationally didn't function very well. The peninsula on which Evanston is located measures a total of 6.5 feet long, but with the mainline curves at both ends of the peninsula, I only have a space that is 18 inches wide by 4.5 feet long for the yard itself. That's not a lot of space, even in N scale. By the way, as you can see, I have already removed some of the structures here in preparation for the renovation of the yard. What's going on here? Well, an advantage of Cato Unitrack is that you can put it down right on top of the existing track, and then you can change it over and over until you are satisfied with the new track arrangement. That's what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm satisfied with the new track arrangement, so I can easily remove the new track and set it aside in order to rip out the existing track and cork. I put down this cork years ago to reduce the apparent height of the track in the yard, since Cato track comes with its own plastic roadbed. It's easy to remove the track and cork because I never glue it down until I'm certain that I like the track arrangement, and I also don't paint or ballast the track until I am certain of the track arrangement. I can be certain of the track arrangement only after operating trains on it for a while. And there you have it. I've removed the old track and cork. As you can see here, I'm not removing the mainline tracks either for the Evanston subdivision or the Pocatello subdivision. They will remain exactly as they have always been, but not so the track in the yard itself. That's where the rearranging is going to take place, and it will be drastic, as you are about to see. And here's the new track reinstalled. A few moments ago, you saw this same track sitting on top of the old track. Here is the new track arrangement from a different angle. The first 2 tracks will be used as arrival-departure tracks for cars heading to a different destination. These next 2 tracks will be used for the Union Tank Car Company, and this last track will serve a fictitious industry. Now take a look over here. There is only 1 turnout leading into the yard instead of 2 as before. A second one might be nice for runarounds, but not really necessary, as you will see in a later episode when the yard is fully operational. Somewhere I read that it's best to have no more than 2 turnouts at most leading off the main line into a yard. And here is something else new, a yard lead. A short one to be sure, and only long enough for 3 cars and a yard switcher. But it's certainly better than no yard lead as before, and having to constantly foul the main line to do yard switching. Here you see a better overview of the yard. Again, note the dedicated arrival-departure tracks, which are now nearest to the front of the layout. and the industrial tracks, which are now in back. Also note the single entrance to the yard, which defines the yard limit, where the dispatcher's responsibility ends and the yardmaster takes over for train movements in the yard. Finally, note once again the yard lead, which is critical for train movements without fouling the main line. And look at all of this additional space I now have here thanks to the new track arrangement. This is where those structures for the former railroad complex will go. True, the UP no longer uses those structures, but they continue to be very prominent in the yard. I will be able to do something much more satisfying with the structures now that I have so much more space for them. Right now, only the two arrival-departure tracks have power coming from the main line. The yard lead and the industry tracks are not yet powered. Cato number 6 turnouts are power routing, and I will have to install these Cato terminal unijoiners on each of the yard tracks. Other brands of track call these drop feeders. I have ordered the terminal unijoiners that I need. When they arrive, I will install them on all of the yard tracks. I have also ordered a new sheet of cork to install between the tracks, and I will show you how I do that. So for now, I can only run a locomotive on the two arrival and departure tracks because they are the only tracks having power. But let's go ahead and test those two tracks with a Cato SD 40-2, the kind of locomotive I will be using at Evanston Yard. So there you have it, the new track arrangement at Evanston Yard. I'm really pleased with it. It looks better and functions much better than the old arrangement, which was overly crowded. I now have dedicated arrival-departure tracks at the front of the yard, and I now have a yard lead so that I don't foul the main line so much. I've still got a lot of work to do in this continuing series about the renovation at Evanston. I hope you will come along as I do this. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it yet, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. Also, hit the thumbs up button if you liked this video, and post your comments down below. I read all of them and respond to as many of them as I can. Don't forget that I upload a layout update every Saturday morning, such as the one you are watching right now, and a weekly variety show for model railroaders called Dispatch on Tuesday nights. Also, don't forget that I will put a link down below to last Saturday's layout update in which I introduced you to my plans for renovating Evanston. Until next time then, thank you for joining me today. I'm Roy Smith, and I will see you again very soon.